So a 24-point win for Ireland here at the Principality Stadium. Their first win over Wales at this venue in the Six Nations Championship since 2013. It's always been a tough place to come, Alan, but when you get off to the start that Ireland had today, at the first quarter in particular, it lays the foundation for what ultimately was a really good victory.
Yeah, it was. I think everyone is a little bit surprised by the scoreline. I certainly thought it'd be much tighter, but Ireland came out of the blocks. Exactly what you want to do when you're away from home, and they laid down a real marker with the way they played. Tactically, they were very good. Their breakdown was outstanding. Carries from a lot of players, getting over the gain line. So really efficient and precise in everything they were doing in that first half. Wales were static. They were stuck to the ground a little bit. But that was a superb performance from Ireland the first half. And, fortuitous, I think, the James Lowe try, but the early tries, Ireland were really brilliant, and a couple of big defensive moments as well. And their discipline was really good. Defensive line speed, all that kind of stuff. So most parts of Ireland's game was really exceptional in the first half. The second half was, a complete reverse around, and as regards the way Wales approached it, and they came out of the blocks in the second half. But to get a bonus point win here in the first round of the championship is an outstanding start for Ireland. Naturally
enough, in any test match you want to start well. I mean, that goes without saying, but I just wonder during the build-up how much emphasis the Ireland coaching staff were putting on the fact that Gatlin was back, that Wales were going to come flying out of the blocks, because if he was going to get a reaction from them, we were going to see it pretty early. And Ireland, their intention was to stamp that out from the very start.
And the best way to do that is be really good about your game, be aware of it and conscious of it. It doesn't always go right for you if you know that there's something coming as regards the atmosphere, playing in this brilliant stadium, and Warren Gatlin effect as well. So Ireland were mentally strong, I think, and they focused on themselves. They would have been conscious of it, but I think just the way they played, and they backed themselves, and they're a very fit side, play with great pace and tempo, and it started to go well for them, and you could see the reaction right from the kick-off. Everything they were doing, the way they were executing off line-outs, the lines are running, all that kind of stuff was really good. So they're a very mature side, a confident side, and a side that obviously I think Andy Farrell and the other coaches will look back in the second half and be a bit disappointed with some parts of the game. But credit to Wales, they came right back into it. But from an Ireland point of view, I think they'll review this and be really, really pleased. But there's certain things that they think they can be better at.
Caelan Doris, we were discussing him after the match as possibly a potential player of the match. Ultimately, the award went to Hugo Keenan, but Doris set the ball rolling. He got his try. He had 5 or 6 huge moments, big turnovers, won his line-out ball, big tackles, made more carries in the first half when the game was there to be won than any of the other Irish players. His reputation continues to grow. Like, he must be one of the standout, if not the best, number 8 in world rugby.
He's world class. He's absolutely world class, and he's proven that now. And on numerous occasions against big teams. In New Zealand, he was outstanding in the second and third test. November, big performances again. He's obviously doing it with Leinster on a regular basis. And today, so many big moments. Josh van der Fleer, James Ryan was superb, as well as all the Irish pack were. I think, their scrum was really good, their set piece, areas that we thought it might be of concern, the breakdown. So that pack worked really well. Finlay Bealham came into the game with a bit of pressure expectation there of what would happen. I think he stood up well and played really well. But and Hugo Keenan, who got player of the match, outstanding, Mr. Consistent. He's so good. Very, very rarely makes a mistake. So right across the board, I think brilliant. James Lowe as well, so effective with that left boot at times, and obviously some brilliant carries and the intercept tries. So lots of really positive moments. Ireland will be so pleased sitting in that dressing room now and looking forward to France next week, which is a different kettle of fish.
Well, their depth was tested. No Furlong, no Gibson Park, no Healy, no Henshaw. And the bench today made a huge impact. Bundy Aki had a big impact. Henderson, once he got over that tackle on Ian Williams, came into the game. We saw Casey and Ross Byrne delivering in that last 10 or 15 minutes as well. So
yeah, Dave Kilcoyne brought an impact as well. So it's exactly what you want. Jack Conan, a couple of good line-out takes, carries, great turnover penalty as well from him. So right across the board, that's what you want. Tom O'Toole getting off the bench, getting invaluable game time. So that's what Andy Farrell wants, and it's today worked out really well. Next week could be different, but there's a couple of players, and every team will always be missing a couple of players. You Furlong, and having Kelleher, maybe Herring came off the bench and he's done brilliantly as well, but having Kelleher fit and raring to go is a great prospect and he's a brilliant player as well. So Robbie Henshaw, hopefully he'll be back in the mix soon as well. So there's a lot of quality, and we know the bench is so important, but they're building nicely, and I think this was always going to be a really difficult start, and they answered a lot of questions that we had before the game.
Yeah, this sets up a brilliant game with France next week, which has the potential to be a championship defining game. Final word on Wales and the job ahead of Warren Gatland. The old saying in sport is never go back. He's decided to come back. There were times in the first half where the colour seemed to be draining from his face, and there was almost a sense that you were watching it sink in as to how big a job he's got on his hands now, not just over the next few weeks, but in a World Cup year, what he has to do.
Yeah,
progress has to be made.
Today is a big blow for them, and I listened to his interview after the game, and he said he wasn't that disappointed with the performance. I think he was more frustrated at certain things, and he elaborated to say that there's certain parts of the game that they can fix. They showed us in the second half how good they can be and how dangerous they can be, and on another day they could have had 2 tries, certainly a try or 2 more in that second half. But Ireland are a very good defensive side, and they stopped them, and they won some crucial moments when Wales were on the attack. But it's a tough job. It's a tough job when you're on a bad run. You're coming back for the second time. He's had so much success before, but it's very, very early days, and it's going to take a little bit of time. He hasn't that much prep time with him. Ideally, I think before the World Cup, he would love to bring in some more young players. There is some very young, exciting players. We saw Jenkins coming off the bench. Hawkins started today at 12. There's talks of some more younger players that he could bring in. He's gone for the tried and trusted today, and probably for a lot of the Six Nations. But it's a tough place for him, but he's a strong character. He knows, and he can probably see the potential outside, and they showed that potential in the second half.
Yeah, well, listen, we enjoyed bringing it to you on Virgin Media Television today. Come back to us tomorrow, because we've got the final match of round 1 of the Guinness Six Nations Championship. Italy are taking on France. Well, big 2022 for both of those teams. Italy looking for their second ever win over the French in this championship. We're with you from 2 o'clock on Virgin Media 2 tomorrow.